United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show all members are present. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
So motion.
I got Groby.
Roby,
Second. Thanks.
okay. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes.
Make a motion to go into public hearing.
Public hearing on the proposed reallocation of unspent proceeds and discussion and a decision on approving resolution number 83-21 entitled Resolution Instituting Proceedings to take additional action and approve the reallocation of certain unspent proceeds of the General Obligation Capital Loan Note Series 2018 of Potawatomi County, Iowa. Okay, Brian, you made a motion. Second. Roll call.
Chairman Belt.
Aye.
Supervisors Shea.
Aye.
Wickman.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
And Groby.
Aye.
Okay, public hearing only. Anybody speaking in favor? Anyone speaking opposed?
I'll move to close.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Chairman Belt.
Aye.
Supervisor Shea.
Aye.
Wickman.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
And Groby.
Aye.
Okay, now I need a motion and a second to approve and authorize the board to sign resolution 83-21 entitled Resolution Instituting Proceedings to take additional action and approving the reallocation of certain unspent proceeds of the General Obligation Capital Loan Note Series 2018 of Potawatomi County, Iowa.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none? Roll call.
Chairman Belt.
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman.
Aye.
Groby.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
And Shea.
Aye.
Okay. Now we need to go on to Matt Wyatt. And this is supposed to be public hearing also, Director of Planning and Development and/or Pam Colstrip, Acting Director, public hearing and first consideration of ordinance 21-02 and ordinance to amend the official zoning map of Potawatomi County, Iowa by changing the district designation of approximately 73.8 acres from class R1 Ag Urban Transitional to Class A2 Agricultural Production District and setting a date for second consideration.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Chairman Belt.
Aye.
Supervisors Groby.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Wickman. Shea.
Aye.
Okay, anybody to speak in regards to this matter? You're gonna talk in regards to this?
I believe Pam and the property owner are gonna speak on it.
Where's that at? Is that the old missile base?
It's close. It's about a mile east of there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we get your name and address? for the-
Courtney McIntosh, 14966 275th Street, Trainer, Iowa. Yeah. And then my dad is Steve Trady, the neighbor.
What was your last name?
Mine's McIntosh,
McIntosh.
McIntosh.
So is there a conditional use permit to tie into this?
There will be, that would be the next step for them,
Okay.
is to come back for a conditional use permit once the rezoning has happened, for them to achieve what they want to be able to do.
Okay, so when I was reading the write-up, so that will happen after this has been completed.
Correct, first they have to be in the proper zoning district.
Okay,
Once the zoning district change happens, then they'll come back to the zoning board of adjustment with another application for then their commercial kennels. And that will be where they submit more of their plan for the kennel, and conditions could potentially be imposed on it and the permit granted.
okay.
But it's another public hearing process through the zoning board of adjustment.
Anyone else speaking in favor? Anyone speaking against?
Motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Supervisor Schultz,
Aye.
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisor Wickman. Supervisor Roby. And Supervisor Shea.
Aye.
Okay, good.
Let me ask for you. Hey Pam, why was that R1 to begin with?
Back, I think it was in 2004, when Kay, when she was the director, and the Planning and Zoning Commission and the board, did a mass rezoning of the county. There was, I think in your staff report, it shows that pink section that was rezoned to R1.
Is there potential for a subdivision or something, or why was it?
Yeah, and some other uses, but yes, it could be minor subs, major subs, if the surfacing is correct.
So
It was in conjunction with the land use plan at the time, but
everything around it is A2.
most of it. I mean, her property is right here, where the yellow, or red star is, so all of that, but then the green is all ag.
That's all planned too still, right?
Yes.
So you're just, you said just east of the AEA up there?
Mhm. Right before Silver City Highway,
Okay.
and I pretty much sit on the highway.
Was there a land use study done in 2004 or something?
Correct. That was when the big update was going on of the land use plan and 2 mile agreement all at one time, when they came out with those new
First
maps.
time? Was that the first time?
I don't believe it was the first time. It was the first really big update that would have been happening.
Okay. That makes some sense, I guess. Okay. Any other questions? Can I get a motion and a second to approve first consideration of ordinance
So moved.
2021-02 and ordinance to amend the official zoning map of Pot County by changing the district designation of approximately 73.8 acres from class R1 ag urban transitional to class A2 agricultural production district, and set date for second consideration.
Second.
Okay, what's the date we're gonna set for?
Next week?
Preferably, yeah.
That time, or,
It'll be the 17th.
does that work for you?
You're setting the date as
Just 10 a.m. next
Yeah.
week, it's fine.
the 17th of August,
Yeah.
okay? Is there publications that have to go out with that then? Or not?
There was for the public hearing, and then the ordinance will have to be published too, once you approve it.
So, 8/17 at 10 a.m. Roll call, is that right, Melvin?
Sure, Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisor Shea,
Aye.
Wickman.
Aye.
Roby. Schultz.
Aye.
Just trying to keep you awake.
Yeah,
Right.
thanks.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
Okay, I gotta go.
Thank
Turn
you.
the phone.
Thanks.
I need to get my phone on.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Next up, we have John Reff, engineer, looking at bid for road operation center project.
bid tabs for.
There is currently one other participant in the conference.
Let's see the estimates and keep track of the bids yourselves. John Jorgensen with HGM's with me today. Let me juggle all the papers.
Thanks. I got a note for you to fix Highway 92 this morning for you, by the way.
Thank you.
We need a promotion before I can fix 92.
I got a call this morning, too, somebody left their living room, set on honeysuckle.
We'll put that in your yard.
It's not that far from my yard.
Oh, you weren't supposed to hear me. We got 8 bids for this project. Candy put them in timestamp order, so instead of alphabetical, we'll do them in timestamp order, if that's all right with everybody. The first bid is from MFD of Riverton, Iowa. It's Mount Farm Drainage.
MFD, you said?
MFD, yep. You stick those back in the envelope for me. They acknowledge that they've seen all 3 addenda. Oh, 5, sorry. That's why he's here, to keep me straight. They signed the contract. Bond, it's a little different than DOT bonds. Oh, there's the bond. And they included the bond, so the bid is complete, so I'll read the dollar amount. So MFD is $343,655, and no cents there. Second bid is Jap Brothers.
Who was that, man?
It's Jap, J-A-P, Brothers Grading of Kennard, Nebraska. Should have brought a letter opener. Oh, more envelopes. You wanna open the bond or I'll open this one? The bond is signed. They acknowledged all 5 addenda. The bid amount is $660,410.50. 660,410.50. Let's open this one to the bottom. Sometimes I think it's a game how much tape they can put on a bid. The next bid, oh, thank you. Yeah. Thanks, guys, you saw me struggling. Lee Construction out of Glenwood, Iowa. They acknowledged the 5 addendas. The bid bond's complete. So Lee's bid was $265,337.40.
I'm sorry, John, where were they from?
Glenwood,
What was their name?
Lee Construction.
Okay.
This just fell apart here. Sure. The next bid's from Doug Ring of Neola. Bond's complete. Recognize all 5 addenda. So Doug Ring of Neola is $365,133.50. Next bid is Light Construction out of Glenwood. Is that Leak? Is that Light or Leak?
Light.
None of us agree, so I don't feel bad now. Sorry for your. bid bond's complete. Recognize the 5 addenda. Their bid was $539,815.07. The next bid is from PCI. Recognize all 5 addenda. They have a complete bid bond. PCI's bid amount was $542,162, no cents, so 542,162 for PCI. Seventh bid is D&D Construction, Council Bluffs. Bond is complete. They signified all 5 addenda. D&D's bid was $470,848.28. And the final bidder was Himes Construction of Omaha, Nebraska.
Column on your sheet.
Yeah, right. Great response to our call for bids here. Happy to see all the bids. The bond is complete. They signed off on all 5 addenda. And Himes' bid was $630,737.76. We'll review these bids in the math and I guess and make a recommendation based on that. The apparent low bidder would be Lee Construction this time.
Are you familiar with them at all, John?
They've been a subcontractor in a lot of transportation projects, so we've worked with them quite a few times.
Right. Transportation, they sub with,
They did the grading on, Old Lincoln Highway when we did that bridge grading up there, and they've done a lot of bridge grading and some of that stuff around the county.
They did the grading on Eastern Hills Drive as well, so.
was that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
north of 92 there.
Oh, that city project, yeah.
Okay. That's a wide range.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
John?
Thanks, you guys.
You be over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Oh, Grant, are you on the phone there?
Did you need a motion to open the bids?
Yes, I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I guess we just did have a discussion. Open bids.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, Grant Anderson, MAPPA discussion and decision to approve Cornerstone's commercial contractors pay request number 3 for downtown rehab construction work in Carson, Macedonia.
How's it going, Grant? How's the job going?
It's going fine. It's about 40% complete. They're doing work in both towns concurrently, so
Do we look like we're gonna get it done this year?
Well, there's a conference call update for the project today, so I'll ask that question. I haven't been able to attend the last few progress meetings. I've been out there to see work going on, but I'll see where they think they're at.
We gave an extension on that, correct?
Yes, correct.
Is it questionable whether they'll finish at that time?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Is it questionable they'll be finished on time with that extension?
No, I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
So the remaining, monies for these two projects is roughly, can't be 700,000, right? Must be what? About 3, 7. Total project was 1,029,000, right?
Well, actually, I need to update those beginning budget figures. The cost went down. Some properties dropped out, and then it needs to be adjusted for the actual bid amount. So the total beginning numbers are lower. So and I don't know quite. I think some of the Iowa West money. Well, yeah, just looking at that, there's roughly 326,000 remaining in CDBG and 338 from Iowa West cities.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at here. And this request is, for the $16,000.
Yeah, that's right. So the other 50% is just a combination of cities and property owner contributions.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion?
One more quick question for Grant. This is in conjunction with Brian's question. Will this work all be done this year?
Well, I can't say. There's a conference call update later today, and I wasn't able to attend the last meeting. I'll ask that question of the contractor and report back. But as far as I know, construction hasn't really been hindered. Workers are on site almost daily, so no real obstacles thus far that I'm aware of. So, but I will ask that at the meeting and report back.
Okay, I'll call for the vote, Scott.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Next up, we have, thanks, Grant.
Thanks.
Yeah, let us know what you find out. Jason Slack, Director, Buildings and Ground, discussion and decision to approve and authorize chairman to sign change order 003, additional time extension 211 days for courthouse addition project to contract.
This has to do with the steel, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it was actually, the extension was already approved in the last board meeting. This is adding the 211 days to the contract for the courthouse addition project.
So,
Second.
is that your recommendation?
It is, yeah.
So question, because you said the last meeting this happened? Or was this before?
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
So is this, because I thought we were switching to a different kind of I-beam or something different.
They did at the jail. They were able to switch from, the bar joist to, I-beams at the jail without too much, work, but, they had talked about possibly doing that with our project, but it would have been too costly, for the architectural fees, number one, and for the steel.
What did, okay, so with 211 days, what is the projected date now?
May 13th, 2023.
Thank you.
Jason, did you get any other information on the decking they were gonna look for?
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I don't have any other updates on that material as of right now.
Okay, are they still working on trying to?
Yep.
Okay.
What's this cat's name? Doug? Is his name? The
Uh,
onsite contractor?
Superintendent, David Lowens.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes.
Oh, wait a minute. That was Shane Wickman, right?
Yeah, Wickman made the motion. We should
Well,
say-
he's,
You should be on item E, Mr. Hauser.
I am on item E, but it says, 3 downtown rehab construction work in Carson, Macedonia. It doesn't say, if Jason can get, we can get that, motion amended.
What's that?
It's
Well, no, he's just got the,
typo there.
it's a typo, he's got
Oh, I
this
see.
D, motion down on E.
Okay, yep. I could see why you were confused, Mr.
Yes,
Hauser.
yeah. Well, so the actual motion is to, I'll write it down here for Andrew.
Yeah.
Get it in a minute.
Is to sign the change order.
Authorize the chairman to sign the change order number 3.
Okay.
Okay. Next up, we have Ward Elections Building Parking Lot Contract to Bluffs Paving Utility Company, Inc. in the amount of $215,611.50.
So moved.
Second.
What'd that come in at, your guys' estimate?
I think it was 100, wasn't it 225 roughly? Your preliminary opinion?
Yeah.
It came in below his preliminary opinion.
Right, okay, I just didn't remember how much. And we switched that fence, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that's included in this.
Switch the
Okay.
fence.
Have we asked
What?
that guy from Mrs.
Switch the fence?
I'm sorry.
The one on the east side to block the
Property owner.
headlights.
Next door?
What about?
Can we ask him if we can buy that?
I haven't been in contact with him. I don't know if the resident is actually the owner of that or,
Highly doubt it,
Yeah.
but, it'd be worth asking.
okay.
What?
Cause that thing's.
Yeah.
Needs some love.
Yep,
Is this your recommendation to move forward with this, Jason?
it is, yeah. We
So,
need parking,
how many people took bids out?
2. Or how many, did we get 3?
3 or 4 primes had plans. There was 2 bids received. So
Yeah, there's 2 bids received.
I was only expecting 1, so I was pleased with getting 2.
Phase one, would they start?
Would you say 6 to 8 weeks from now? The potential, finish date would be, sometime around Thanksgiving.
Are we good to go on parking when we start this?
Had a
conversation with Jim
parking
Hall.
will be down, at the Veterans Affairs Building.
We got enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm wondering if we need to move county vehicles somewhere else, like the jail.
I think we're gonna be okay. We may be able to utilize some of the parking in juvenile detention as well. They don't use it all.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, any other discussion on that? We already voted on it, didn't we? No, we didn't vote.
I didn't hear it.
Okay, all those in favor?
That doesn't mean you didn't.
Like sign, motion passes.
Isn't his existing work schedule keeping him from starting sooner?
I believe so. He's working on some jobs right now that he's gotta get finished up.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll manage.
Okay, Justin?
So we'll manage, I guess.
Yeah, I was hoping that would be quicker.
Same here.
They're having a hard time getting concrete right now. I know out here with the grout that they're putting in our piles, there, it was kind of a dicey situation to get those 2 trucks dedicated to these guys, so.
Cause the interstate's getting poured.
Well, and they can't find drivers. They got 50 trucks sitting in their yard and don't have anybody to drive them, so.
Blows my
Competing
mind.
with the federal government.
I don't
wanna
know,
make
I
it-
could offer all
Yeah,
kinds of
yeah.
opinions on that right now, but
Please don't.
Discussion and decision on hiring of an additional maintenance worker.
What do you got now?
Right now I have 3 maintenance workers, an electrician, and 1 custodian and maintenance superintendent. That's our staff here at the courthouse. The board may or may not be aware, we lost a maintenance position back in 2018. And we replaced his position with the electrician, rather than hiring another maintenance worker. We're coming to the point now to where our tickets are sitting on there way too long. We're not able to get to people as soon as we'd like to. We have an average of 21 workdays per month, under 68 hours per month per maintenance worker, which gives us a total of 504 hours for the 3 maintenance workers. 270 hours of that needs to be spent on scheduled maintenance. And that's fallen behind too, and I don't really want to fall behind on our scheduled maintenance. Average monthly time off is 80 hours per month right now. And I guess just the bottom line is, we're just not able to take care of the reactive maintenance as timely as we'd like to. And I'm just here to ask the board if we can hire.
Do you have it in your budget?
Not yet. I think, yeah, we would be able to cover it, until, the rest of the year goes through, but I would put it in my budget in October for next fiscal year too.
is this forever kind of thing, or just get you caught up?
It would be a permanent position. Also, the electrical work is building up to the point to where we're actually having to contract a lot of that out again. This would also give the opportunity to one of our maintenance workers to move into electrician's apprentice position.
Is that an interest of theirs right now, or is that just potential?
I haven't put that out there yet.
I'm gonna be just brutally honest with you, I'm not ready to make that decision today.
Okay.
I think we need to have more conversations about where we are with the budget in terms of employees and things like that, and that's not necessarily microscoped on your department, it's more so as a whole, where are we at? 'Cause I mean, you're basically asking us for $100,000 no matter what.
I know.
And so we gotta figure out, does that align? That's 2 cents on our levy. We rolled 10 cents back, which would have been employee pay last year, so did we recoup enough dollars to even cover what we got? And do we have enough to add 2 more pennies to what we need, so I need to review the budget and look at it. I'm not gonna vote on it today, so I mean, that's my stance, but I wanna review it first.
Okay.
What is the, Jana, do you know the low level for the maintenance? Is a maintenance worker 1 or whatever?
For the starting pay rate?
Yeah.
Who's someone who's in that role right now, Jason?
Probably Robert Estrada or Matt Weiss.
And I guess guess, Jan, if you, I think maybe 6 weeks ago or so, I asked you to look at like how many vacancies and potential retirements were up. I mean, is that changed, do you think, from what your last email was?
No, I mean, yeah, the vacancies that we had, have been filled. No, I wouldn't say that's changed.
Jason, I'd like to visit with you on this as
Okay.
well before I
Yep.
make a call.
And I
That's
can,
okay.
I can provide reports too, if that's something that you guys wanna look at.
Yeah, okay.
Scott, the low end looks like it's 1994.
Thank you. Okay, so,
Okay, Jake, see if you can, get Bluff's David to squeeze us in a little sooner.
Okay. We'll see what we can do. We'll have John pull some strings.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Jason. I'll reach out to you.
Okay.
Are you
David
today?
No, I'm with David today. I would bet he'll be walking down in a second. He's probably watching it, if I can guess.
Do you find the recess then, or wait for him?
sure.
Oh.
Can you put that on pause, Melvin?
I'll hit you up after the meeting. I can't stop.
Sorry about that.
I just said, I bet David's on his way down right now.
You're right.
Shoot.
David, are you, 100% ready to talk to finances on this item that's on the agenda?
I believe so.
Okay. David, how are we doing on our slogan submittals?
I checked yesterday, we've got 40 plus, I think 46 responses so far. So a fair amount. Surprisingly, actually, I thought we'd have 5 or 7.
That's exciting.
I wanted to ask Jason about the windows after the rain this weekend, what the situation there was.
What's what?
The rain this weekend, with the windows. That was all.
Time to bring Matt Wilbur back in.
Yeah.
Tired of messing around with it. You weren't here, so, our chairman gave us a 5-minute break.
Jim, are you thanking me or?
We're just gonna take 5-minute breaks at different times.
Just right down that way.
I told him you were probably watching it anyway.
I didn't realize it was gonna be so fast today.
It's fast today.
reached our email, Sire.
Wow.
They logged in from somewhere in London. So they did it company-wide. Everyone had to change their passwords this morning.
Okay, David Byer, CIO, and Jana Limerick, Director of Human Resources, discussion and/or decision to approve quote and funding for Tyler Technologies ExecuTime software.
So we've been spending the last several months working with various departments to make sure that this software would work for our various complex timekeeping arrangements, configurations, setup, whatever you want to call it. Probably half a dozen to 10 calls with ExecuTime experts. We talked about timekeeping, we talked about scheduling. We've gotten a thumbs up from everyone we've talked to. There's a mobile piece, or mobile software as well. It interfaces with Tyler software perfectly because it is Tyler software. So that saves payroll some time, eliminates potential errors because payroll staff were going in both timekeeping systems to keep them in balance, keep them parallel. This will keep the data up to date. The project, if approved, would take 9+ months to implement. It's a very complex, timekeeping is a very complex thing. So it would require meetings with every department on how they keep their time and how they do overtime and how they do schedules and how they do all those kinds of things. So it would take a while to implement. The quote that I've sent you is for $72,537 one-time cost. That's the cost of setting up the software.
What was that number again, David?
$72,537.
Okay.
That is the setup and configuration one-time cost. Then there's the annual maintenance of $9,186. That would be in the IT budget because IT pays for software when it's used by multiple departments, which this is. So that would roll into IT's budget. We already pay the Tyler annual maintenance anyway, so this would just, we pay the Socrata software that we would be doing. That would also roll into the IT budget, the annual maintenance. The quote does not include clocks. So Jan and I would come back in the future with a clocks quote. So in this timekeeping system, there's 4 ways to enter time. There's time clocks. You just walk by, swipe your badge, and that would clock you in, swipe it again, clock you out, kind of thing. You can go to the website. The software is web-based. You can go in, clock in that way, enter in your 8 o'clock, enter in your 4:30, whatever your time is. There's the mobile app as well, and there's also scheduling. Schedule, if you set up a schedule for your department, that can enter your time as well. So there's 4 ways to enter time, and that leads to a question that Jen and I have, and that is, what is the board's recommendation on, I know timekeeping is what we're talking about here, but clocks are different than websites, right? If you walk by a clock, that's one way to keep time. The quote I would come back to you with at some point in the future is based on how many clocks we need in the county. Do we want one for every department? Do we want one in by entrance and exit doors?
My recommendation
Do we
is,
want everyone on clocks? Do we want some people on clocks? I don't know what the answer is there, and I don't know if there's a board's recommendation or a desire.
go ahead.
Can we tie it into we already run the badges by the door things,
For some people, not everyone.
Well, to get in the door, yes,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah, yes.
it won't tie into that.
So, I recommend that we do all of them, and make it convenient for employees. The reality is that we have very good department heads, we have very good managers within this organization. We do not need, as a board especially, to be clock hawks. We need to worry about letting our managers manage, So to me, have all those options available. I don't know how many clock-in stations you need. I think you guys have to have a department head meeting, see if anyone has any real, like, we have to have one. Get your count that way. Allow employees to download the app on their phone, realizing that if they choose to use that app, that we are not covering that expense of the time. That's their call. I know there's some legal things there, but we just need to make sure they're aware that that's on their own, their choice. That also means that there's geofencing that goes with those too, so that if they're across the street at the VA building and they try to clock in from there, that may or may not necessarily mean that you're actually physically working on time. So managers can handle that, we don't need to do that. The online thing, there's some people who just prefer to do it that way. You can even set it up so that when you turn your computer on, log in, that it automatically pulls, pulls the Internet Explorer up and goes straight to that, so they can just do it. If they don't want to, they just close the main window and they move on.
What's our baseline right now?
How many clocks?
We got a certain baseline we're dealing with right now. There's so many clocks or whatever, what everybody's doing right now. We know what that is.
Yep.
So.
Today we have 7 clocks in the county,
Okay.
but part of that is because only half of our employees are using Kronos. The other half use Tyler's ESS.
Okay.
Since we're proposing to have everyone on one system, that opens this door up to other departments to use clocks as well. So.
Do we deconflict things with the sheriff's office then on this to make sure it's gonna work?
Yes, we've had multiple meetings with them and Tyler executive time, and yes, Andy has given us the thumbs up to move forward. Yes.
So are the clocks another Tyler item or are they a third party?
It's their clocks, yep.
Tyler has clocks?
Correct.
So plus maintenance, is it that crap too?
I imagine there'll be maintenance, yes.
Shocker.
We'll likely buy a spare clock to have on hand, as a backup or fail-safe or whatever.
Well, if one clock wasn't working, they could still go to.
You can go to any clock.
and
Yep.
Good point.
Who's
Yep.
gonna be managing this? So the actual software, like, today I show up, I go to clock in, it doesn't work. Who's troubleshooting that? Is that IT function?
We will work with Tyler, so they would put in a ticket with us. We would work with Tyler to get that clock functional again. The system itself, how to use the software, we'd have lots of subject matter experts in every department, so those,
Okay.
a timekeeping expert exists already in every department. Those people would be responsible for their timekeeping and all the approval process, payroll, Jana,
So there'll be people that can log in and fix someone's time card if they need to.
right, missed punches, those kinds of things, yep.
Okay. And then so policy side of things, are you gonna align that with the software? So I mean, I'm assuming there's like a 7-minute grace period or something like that for when people
Yes.
show up.
Yep, we're gonna work through that. I mean, I think pretty much everyone will be on the same. 911, they have some differences as to when they report, because one in, one out, right? There's no gap time there. So we'll work through that with them. But yes, then we'll make sure all policies are aligned. And if, policies about if you have a history of not clocking in or out and you're constantly having to have your time, someone has to go in and readjust it. We'll have policies about all of that as well. Yes.
So the people that you visited with that have used ExecuTime with Tyler, did they indicate they have to do a lot of clock replacement, repairs?
I've not heard of that in any of our calls with anybody.
Okay.
And historically, the clocks are pretty basic. They're essentially tablets that connect to the network. So it's really just it's almost like a website.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a tablet. Tablet replacement doesn't happen that often. So, and if they're at all similar to our Kronos ones, we've never had to replace one of those ever. And we've had those for probably a decade, something like that.
Yeah.
David, so we had a department that was keeping their time on paper. That's good. This was gonna take care of that, right? Okay, good. How about, we've had some issues with, I shouldn't say it like that. There's been some employees that would like to be able to see, their vacation time. Is this gonna make that happen?
Absolutely. So the mobile, it's not a mobile app. I shouldn't say that. It's a mobile website. But yes, on the mobile piece, you can look at your time off balances.
So you'll be able to pull it up, Mitch will?
Every employee who goes to that website can view their time off balances.
Okay. What are the costs now that will go away by moving this all under Tyler? Anything?
Yeah, so once we move away from Kronos, once we're live with this, we would stop paying Kronos. We pay Kronos roughly $1,000 a month for subscription to that software, and we pay roughly $2,500 a year for the clock maintenance. So that's $14,500 that would go away.
Well, yeah.
And then your maintenance then will be 9.
Plus clock maintenance, we don't know what that is.
We don't know what the clock maintenance would be, yep.
It's probably gonna be pretty,
So it's not really it isn't gonna cost us.
It'll be mostly a wash, I would think.
Okay.
But the difference is, these will be all the employees on here. Kronos is just half of our employees.
so what, essentially the one-time $73,000 cost to get into this, and then, are we using this at all anywhere in our county, or is it only Kronos and other?
Only Kronos, only Tyler ESS, and only paper.
Okay.
Those are the 3 ways people are entering time today.
For that one-time cost, I think we would ask for ARP funds.
Is that doable?
It probably only under lost revenue. Unless you can make it COVID related.
I mean, people aren't seeing each other anymore and don't have to hand paper back and forth.
Janet.
There you go.
Moving to this, Tyler, does that relieve some time and pressure from the payroll department in the auditor's office?
Yes. So Jenna and Audrey have been part of every single one of these meetings and are really excited about this. Yes.
So their work will go away?
No, their work won't go away. Their work will be more efficient. Yes.
Okay.
It'll be a good thing for them.
Did we have any departments that didn't want to make the change? Okay. So we'll work on the funding. You don't think it can be spent out of ARP funds?
I'll have to look a little bit
Okay.
in more detail on that.
Is it your recommendation to move forward with this, David?
Absolutely.
Jana?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to
Second.
approve the quote funding for Tyler Technologies executive time and initially take the expense out of gaming, and we'll study and see if we can take it out of the ARP funds.
Yeah, it'd been, when we may have, the potential with, additional bond proceeds from some of the bonds that we would have to potentially reallocate. Had we probably had this a little sooner, we could have put it in that,
These time clocks.
the one we just
Did you
did.
second that, Brian?
Yes, yeah, you did.
Is there warranty on
1 year.
them? Okay.
Yeah.
2 things in request to the ARP funding is, I think as we have employees that have to be spaced out and or working differently if they have to, now they have lots of other options of how to clock in, which would be very helpful for us. And then one of the things, when we're asking for reimbursement, FEMA and our ARP reimbursement, what we're finding is that our 2 systems we have right now don't give us everything that we need as far as reporting. So you run a report and there's still manual manipulation, then you have to grab data somewhere else. This would really help us with that. So I don't know if that would help for the rationale to use that funding.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
If you take it from, gonna use ARP funds to reimburse the gaming fund? Or does it?
Well, my motion said that.
When gaming,
Take it out of
yeah.
gaming, but
Right,
we
right.
have to, and we'll study, we can take it out of ARP funds, we'll use that.
Right, but if you did pay for it out of gaming and you hadn't decided yet, can that be reimbursed
Yeah,
from?
you can reimburse out of that,
You
the
can?
expenses that happened after March 10th.
Mitch, I think
You
you'd be
can't
able
reimburse,
to
okay.
tell us before we even spend any money,
All right.
whether we can do that, right? All right, I'll call for the question.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Next up, we have,
Thank you.
Nancy Kay, Budget
Thanks,
Director.
Jana. Thanks, Dave.
Discussion and or decision to update employee handbook credit card policy number 303 to take effect October 1st, 2021.
So the reason that the change in policy came up was after a review from the state auditor came through, and there was a couple things that they'd been caught, and there's a couple things they noticed and had mentioned over the last 3 or 4 years. So, you know, the change to the policy isn't necessarily because anybody's using or abusing the current credit card policy. The real aim of this was to get all of the cards at the same financial institution, get the same billing date. That way we can have departments all submitting everything at the same time with the same deadlines to avoid that in the future. With this, you know, there may be some more cards that are issued out compared to what we normally have. We know some departments have just a department card. We'll work with the institutions to see if that's still something they can do. Other than that, it's probably more likely that most people end up with their own card. There'll be one big approved, kind of like an umbrella credit to the county. That'll be, you know, the credit limit. And then the credit card administrator, which would be me, the auditor, the chairman, and then the finance and tax officer that's also in the auditor's office would have access to go in and, you know, make any corrections needed. If there need to be some temporary changes in credit limits for some one-time purchases, we can all do that without having to go through the bank to have that done. So it'll be pretty effective, and it gives enough authority if someone's gone that it can be taken care of. So we sat in policy committee last week with this, had it reviewed with the committee. Leanne looked through it, made some great changes to the policy as well. With that, it would be my recommendation to approve the change in the current credit card policy, and we'll answer any questions you guys have.
So moved.
Second.
Is that your recommendation, Jana?
Yes.
All right.
Any other discussion?
I appreciate your work on that, you two, and Leanne for taking a look at the legal side.
Good. Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session
I'll second that.
pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5, parent 1, parent J, for discussion and a decision to purchase or sale of a particular real estate.
Roll call.
Chairman Bell.
Aye.
Supervisor Shea. Wickman. Groby. Schultz.
Aye. Leanne, are you sticking around for this one?
Yeah, that's in trials.